Hi guys, welcome back to the Premier Division and European Review Show. We're going to get into the European games. Obviously, St. Patrick's Day played Mura and Sligo played Motherwell. We already reviewed the Shamrock Rovers game in the last show. We might have a brief discussion with them at the end for their game. It'll be very brief, I think, because the result wasn't great, let's be honest about it. But we'll get into the league games as well. We'll start off in Scotland, where Motherwell were beaten 1-0 at home to Sligo Rovers. Aidan Keena's goal on 27 minutes was enough to give them the win. And Keano, look, it's a good result to take to Sligo. There's no doubt about it. You could argue they could have even nicked a second. I know a lot of talk about Motherwell saying, oh, they created chances, this, that, and the other. But Sligo created the best chances overall in this game. And a lot of talk about Irish minnows and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully that stuff will go up on the showgrounds wall for the second leg. But positive result, Keano, for Sligo.
Yeah, look, what a result. Another great night for an Irish club in Europe. Brilliant performance. I seen the game back. I watched the game on Friday. Friday morning, I seen the whole game, and they were excellent. Let's be honest, they were brilliant in the game, and they never looked phased. Like, they had more of a run around against UCD on the Sunday than Motherwell on the Tuesday. So it was a little bit surprising that end. Look, I didn't think the gap was massive. I thought like if Sligo played anywhere near the way they did against UCD, that it could have been a few goals down going into it, but going into the second leg. But look, they got ahead in the game. They were ahead early enough as well.
The chances before that even, Keano, didn't they?
Yeah. And I thought the ref kind of bottled the decision there as well in the game. Now I have to be honest, it was I don't think it done the ref any justice in that. Now I thought that was harsh on Sligo, but look, what a result, what a performance. They looked solid, they looked comfortable, but like I said in the last one, over the course of 2 legs, it's a totally different toy. A one-off game, anyone can go out and win 1-0 like that. So it's whether you can do it again 2 weeks in a row, and I'd fear that for them. But look, they're in the best position possible. They're 1-0 up. They're playing at home next week into a sellout crowd, and it's gonna be a big occasion for them. You just hope now. Look, it's great that they're playing at home because we've seen teams like Pats and stuff like that having to go to talent and things in later rounds and all. So it's great that the showgrounds is able to host this game, and they're in the game. They're in the home ground sellout. Look, it's going to be a great occasion no matter what the result is. I think. Any Sligo fans would be any young Sligo fans especially be ground up, and they'll, we think back to Pats with Ellsberg, and you think back all these big games, and you look at Zoom, Luke, I don't know how old you are, but I don't know about the what they call it, the Dundalk game,
Oh, we've only been 2.
Yeah, so
so you remember it, so
I remember us playing Malmo now. In Thailand, we should have won that game. Jesus Christ!
Yeah. That was you finished second in the league, and the following
year,
you played with Fabio and I was up front.
That's right.
That was, but there you go. I think they lost out. And I remember the Dynamo game they were playing in Dalymount. Teams lose out when they have to do that. Like I know if Pats get through now, we'll be playing up in Thailand. But look, I'll take it. I don't care how to get through, but. I think it's great for Sligo. It's in the home ground, and it's an occasion that I hope will capture the imagination of young Sligo fans, and like I said, Pat and Ellsberg, all the ones that I grew up with. It's it's fantastic, and I think they have a real opportunity here of getting into the next round, and it's night and day compared to the last performance in Europe. So you just hope that Sligo team shows up, and that's the way it is. I think at this minute in time, the way the toy is, if the Sligo team that showed up last Tuesday shows up this Tuesday, I think they'll be all right. If the Sligo team that shows up against Bala or UCD, they will struggle in this game, I think. And sometimes it can be easier playing away from home. Look, I know. Obviously, the Motherwell fans were on their backs, and you look probably rightly so, because look, no disrespect, but who wants to lose to Sligo Rovers? And that's the mentality, and it's the same with Pats, it's the same with anyone. That's the mentality. You don't want to lose to these type of teams because they'd like to see themselves better. So it can be a hostile atmosphere, and sometimes the away team can kind of, thrive on that. And I think they did, especially towards the end of the game. But now it was kind of a free hit for them, but now they're probably under a bit of pressure now to get through, and that can play into it. But look, I'm all for them. I think they've done a fantastic job to get themselves in the position that they are. And look, I'd fancy them now to, at least draw the game and go through to the next round. I'd like to think so, especially after the performance they've done. But Motherwell are now, they're no mugs either. They'll come out now and they'll know they're in for a real game. So it is a good game. I won't say it. I'll be in bleeding Slovenia in the middle of nowhere, but it's a game that I would have loved to see now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke, I mean, you're hoping that Sligo would have learned something from that home defeat. Well, when I say home defeat, they got through, you know what I mean, against Ballatown. But it's a completely different kettle of fish in many ways. I know Keano said might be under a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, they were fully expected to go and knock Ballatown out convincingly, actually, in many ways. Yeah. But against Motherwell, there will be a mentality in the dressing room that this tie is literally only half time and they've a lot to do. It might help them out a little bit. I often think Sligo play better when they play some of the so-called better sides or sides that like to keep a lot of the ball, because I think some of the players are suited to counter-attacking football generally, I think. So I've seen that with them this season and actually over the seasons as well. So you're hoping from a Sligo point of view, maybe the best thing to do here is to do something similar, sit in and look to hit them on the counter, which they've done very well in the first leg, to be fair.
Yeah, they did sit in, but as well, they created chances. It's not as if they had the one chance in the game and they scored and they win the game 1-0. Like they could have had a penalty and they, possibly could have had, even more goals. And to be fair to Aidan Keane, he's taken his goal very well. Pretty similar to the game against Bala when he lobbed the keeper. So, he has that in his locker and, he's been very good for Sligo this season. And yeah, when he gets in that sort of area, you nearly expect him to, score I think the Motherwell defending was pretty poor for the goal, though. Like that's a pretty simple back pass, and your man, messes it up. So, yeah, like I think Keano made some really good points there about for the young Sligo Rovers fans. It's you've got a potential to make history. Really, it is going to be a big game for them. To get a win over Motherwell over 2 legs would be really good for them. So. Like it's something they'll want to do, and to have them stories behind them in a few years to talk about, because I've just grown up hearing things about from my parents and all about like the Dynamo Kievs and Drogheda hitting the post and hitting the other post and how close you get and all. So for them they'd obviously love to take it that sort of the next step, and get through this leg. So. It is only half time though, I think they're gonna have to go into this, and not be complacent because it is only 1-0 and
I don't think they will, Luke. I think that's the point I was alluding to as well. I don't think they will. I think there was an element of that against Ballatown, but just the quality opposition, it just won't happen, I think.
Well, they can't because they'll simply be punished for it, like we've seen this season, if they go in any way complacent, they get punished. And look, they're just gonna have to turn up and get the job done, put in a good shift like they did the other night, and then just hope for the best. But it is only half time. I think they've got to be very wary of the qualities that Motherwell still have. You know what I mean? So, I don't know which way it's going to go. You'd fancy Sligo to finish the job, but as well, it's Sligo at the minute. You don't really know what to expect. So, it's a really, really tough one to call. To be fair,
I think 100%. You don't.
I think it helps that they're playing Wexford in the cup as well on Sunday. Yeah. It's not a Shamrock Rovers away, or it's like they could probably feel like they can give Thursday a right go and probably get away with winning on Sunday as well. So you'd like to think they should be having up Wexford. So I think that plays into it as well, and I think to be honest, I'm disappointed that Sligo are playing in the cup and Pats are playing in the cup. Like it's not even a league game; it's a massive cup game for both teams. And look, I know it's Sligo only travelled to Scotland and stuff like that, but they still had to travel, and and I think a lot of games I might catch up, and I just hope, for Pats and Sligo that they don't get caught in the bounce with the European and the way the fixtures have fell, because I think it probably would have been better to have a league game and in between days, and then probably the cup game the following week, like, 'cause the next round of the cup isn't for a little while, and anyway, like, so the games could have been played, I think.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we'll move on to Pats, and they drew 1-1 home to Mora. Daku after 28 minutes, and Forrester after 60 minutes, and I thought this was a really good performance from Pats. I was actually frustrated, Keno, because I think they've done enough to win the game, and that's what the frustration comes into it a little bit, because it actually was a really, really good performance, wasn't it? And obviously they got back into the game after a sucker punch of the goal. Let's be honest, they started like a house on fire. First 20 minutes, they were all over Mora like a rash, and they created chance after chance. The atmosphere was brilliant. The whole thing, didn't score, hit by a sucker punch, went a little flat. Second half, they came out again. I think they took the game to Mora, and Forrester got a good goal and nearly got an unbelievable goal. I didn't realise until I seen it again that the defender actually got a nick on it just at the end, if you get me, when he went to strike it, because he didn't get a clean strike, which was a pity because it was a great run. And they were the better side. It's a positive result that they didn't lose the game, but it's a testament, I suppose, in many ways to suggest that they nearly should have won the game. How did you see it overall?
Yeah, look, I was bitterly disappointed. I actually left the ground gutted, to be honest. I left the ground annoyed and frustrated. When we should be very proud of that performance, but I think I'd say the dressing room. Now, look, I've no idea what went on in the dressing room, but I'd say there was a lot of frustration. And I'd say they probably wouldn't be happy with the draw, because, we done really, really well. The performance was fantastic. I thought Mark Doyle was superb in the game. I thought he was excellent, especially in the first half, especially in the first 20 minutes. He was making these runs. Look, he probably his end product a little bit let him down at times, but he was making them runs in the channels. Yeah. He was doing excellent. He was breaking lines. He was really good. Forrester was up for it, wasn't he? He was just, he was loving it. He comes to life in these big games, and that's what he loves. And like, he was a joy to watch, to be honest. Barry Cotter too. He felt like he was in that squad for years. He just slotted in, and he's looking a cult hero already at the Pats fans, which is mad. Like, I think we were bound him 2 weeks ago, and he was putting on a Rovers jersey against us. But
they'll have to smuggle him, and you won't let him allowed to go back to Rovers, I think.
Yeah, look, it's excellent, and it was a really, really positive night in Richmond. The atmosphere was great. I felt like there was 5,000-6,000 at the game, and I think everyone really got behind them. Look, when they conceded a sucker punch like that to our own mistake again, it's a bit of a killer, and the whole ground was dead for about 15 minutes, I'd say. It was just silent. Forrester, fantastic again. Look, I said, second half came out, he controlled the game. Adam,
what do you make Keane quickly of his position? He seemed to be playing almost like a number 10 to the right a little bit, with Doyle on the left as number 10. It was interesting, wasn't it?
See, I watched Mora, like I said, the 3 times, and they play very defensive in the midfield. Yeah. And that gives us a license to go, and especially bringing, I thought Timmer was excellent. Toys Timmermans, I thought he was brilliant. Probably the first time a lot of Pats fans seen him play. I seen him in a game, in a friendly game, and I thought he was decent. I seen him play for the 19s, but he was good the other night. He was, he kind of gave license for Forrester to go and O'Reilly to go. And that's, like I said, they play with kind of nearly 2 sitting, I'd call it. And that gave Forrester the license to go and play. And look, I think he's better up that end of the pitch. And anyway, and he got his opportunities. Look, that would have been a great goal. Obviously, the second one, if I had went in, but the first one was brilliant. And I seen a couple of from Matthew, the photographer. I seen like a couple of photos of as he was breaking into the net. It was brilliant. Now look, I'm just hoping that not winning it doesn't come back and bite us in the hole, to be honest. And I'd be a little bit worried about that, because they'll be different over there. I think they'll be a lot more comfortable over there. and they know now that they're in for the game, they probably underestimated us a little bit.
I think so, yeah.
Now I think they're gonna know that they're in for the game here, and I think it might be a totally different toy. I don't think it'll be over. I don't think it's gonna be straightforward or anything like it. If someone offered me extra time now, I'd probably take it. Just get out there and see what happens. Like, the good thing is, with the no away goals, you don't have to score now. We don't need to score now to win the match. You know what I mean? We can sit on a 0-0, and obviously I look down a little bit on penalties and stuff, but it's nice to know that you don't have to go over there and break them down straight away. We can buy that time. We can feel ourselves into the game and try and silence the atmosphere a little bit. But it's gonna be a good occasion. I think there's gonna be all eyes on this as well. I think there's gonna be a lot more eyes on the Motherwell game. I think this one might go under the radar a little bit, but it'd be a great night for Pats if they can go and get through. We've given a great account of ourselves. We've got through the fourth round of Europe on a boy, so an extra few bob as well won't go amiss for the club. And look, without the money aside and all that, I think we deserve to be in the next round after the first half performance. We need to back it up now again, and I think that's something that Pats need to nail this season, is the consistency. And if we can nail that now in this game, I think it'll go a long way. We've Waterford on Sunday again, so like, when you think of it, if we do get through the next round, we're playing Thursday in this, which probably could go all the way. Then you're playing on Sunday in the cup. Then you'll be travelling on the Tuesday or the Wednesday to Sofia or not Macedonia or something, and you're playing there Thursday, and then you'll probably play Shells on the Sunday again. So it's going to be a mad hectic schedule, but they're the games you want to be in. You want these schedules, but I'm looking forward to hopefully the next couple of weeks. But it'd be nice to get through this week, and I think it's. I'm gonna think it might go all the way here. I think we could be in for a long night here, and I think it'll be. I think Pat's strength is kind of sitting in a little bit as well, and catching teams on the counter, similar to like throughout the last season mainly. To be honest, I think on that team, and I think the five at the back worked a treat the other night. I was looking at Brocky. I think your man Brockbank that came in. He it's probably his first taste of Europe. He's only 22. You know what I mean? So he's probably a little bit shaken. He was, and he probably had a few nervy moments, but I've no doubt. Look, he's an improvement of what we had, and look, I don't know whether we're going to probably get in another body or two, but I do. I think we probably will need them over the course of the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, interesting. Luke, how do you see it? Do you think Pats can go there and actually get a result? I do think the Keane said as well. I do think there was a little bit of arrogance from Mora coming over, and I think they were a little bit shocked. So it'll be interesting to see what they're like in the second leg as well.
Yeah, I think I seen Chris Forrester saying as well the other day that I think Mura came over thinking it was just going to be a jolly up for them, To be fair, Pats will be very happy with the performance, but slightly disappointed that they didn't win the game. And Tim literally said after the game that at the moment it's the individual error that can killing the team. That's just it. It was an individual error that cost Pats really, and from getting a win, and we're obviously having a bit of a different conversation then if Pats don't make that individual error, and we're saying then, geez, Pats are winning going over to Slovenia, but look, I still fancy Pats to do it, you know what I mean? But it could have been so much better for them. Had the potential of being so much better, and they should have won the game. Like, they had so many chances, and I think they'll be disappointed that they didn't even take one more. And I know Forrester had that chance. I think that probably would have been the best goal I've ever seen. To be honest with you, it was ridiculous. Like, he, to do what he done, then the Ronaldo chop, and he still got the shot away. Like, was ridiculous. And to be quite honest,
stuff.
There's been a few now. I think there's been a few top class goals that would have been up there. I think back
for the occasion always has to come into it. Exactly.
I think back on Pat Sullivan's against Partizan. He struck it, and then what was it, Robbie Benson against Legia? Was that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. when he ran onto it.
Yeah,
he ran onto a body.
Yeah. No, to be honest with you, like to be honest with you, it's the best goal I've ever seen coming even from United Park was from Chris Forrester. You know what I mean? When he lobbed the keeper in 2014 with a volley, like one of the best goals I've ever seen. Like,
was it left foot? No, sorry, it wasn't left foot.
I don't know, but to be fair, like that's just Chris Forrester for you. You know what I mean? Like these sort of games he just lives for, and he really.
I think Keano's right there quickly as well. I think that's why I prefer him further up the pitch where he can really impact it. And he's been playing deep because Pats need him to play deep more so than anything else. But with a couple of players coming in, Lennon coming back into the fold, you'd like to hope the Forrester maybe can play in an advanced role a bit more often because he's just better in that role. He really is, and he enjoys it more as well, I think.
Yeah, he is, because he's probably better on the attack than he is, in defending. I mean, but when you've got someone like Jamie Lennon coming back into the squad, like it nearly gives the license for themselves to push on a bit. You know what I mean? Because you've got Adam O'Reilly as well there. You know what I mean? So you've got a lot of quality there. You know what I mean? You've nearly give them two lads license to like kind of push forward a bit when you've got someone like Jamie Lennon sitting, like, because he's very good at that role, like. And overall, look, Pats are going to be very pleased that they're still in the tie. Like that's probably the aim, you know what I mean, to stay in the tie, and they'll obviously feel like they could have won the game, but performance wise, you know what I mean, it's a really good performance, and I think that's summed up Pats over the last few weeks. You know what I mean? It's the performances are there, just not getting that rub of the green. You know what I mean? And that's just it. And to be honest with you, that will come. The luck will come eventually. So obviously hopefully it's probably starting next week, to be fair. But look, to be honest, I do fancy Pats to go over there and get a result. It will be tough, but they've shown in the first leg that they can beat them. So yeah, like Barry Cotter as well, excellent. Doyler, very disappointed that he got sent off, because it was one of the harshest red cards you're probably likely to see.
Looking at, wasn't it? What did you think of that, Tino, very quickly? Because I didn't really get your thoughts.
To be honest, I didn't see it. I only seen it when I got back. I just seen the ref flashing the red, and I couldn't believe it. But when you're at the ground, you're like, he's after getting that for a reason, and so I went home and watched it, and to be honest, I was shocked. It looked like there was nothing in it. Look, I don't know whether Pat will appeal it or not. I've no idea. But if it's red, that's the good thing, because we can appeal it. I don't know whether they will or not. I don't know. It's probably not going to be worth a while. I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Mark or anything, but they're probably, they've probably been told that it's not going to be overruled or whatever. I'm not sure what's going to happen. They usually
get advice on these things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it was harsh. There's no doubt. It's totally different to the Matty Smith situation a few weeks ago. I think.
Completely different.
It's a totally different red card. But even with 10 men, I don't think Pats were holding out at their Louis. I know it was late in the game, and anyway.
It had nothing to do with the result. Yeah, it was relevant in terms of.
I think Pats were comfortable, and I fancy Pats going over there to nick a goal. I fancy Pats to score, and that's the positive. It's not like. We're not going over there just to defend. I think if we can go at them, we can hold them, and we have some top players. And another thing that I haven't mentioned, he's probably hitting 60 games now with his own Doyle. His fitness levels have been unbelievable. Even what game was it? Was it Drogheda? Was it Drogheda? What's the last match we played at home? Dundalk.
Dundalk.
They come back in the 87th, 88th minute, chasing balls down on the on the winger's corner flag. He's crossed it in, and he's the one blocking crosses, and I think it's excellent, and for a man that's probably played 60 odd games at the age that he's at, his fitness levels are through the roof, and I think now we're starting to see the benefits of Owen Doyle and that Pats team. And look, he's getting a little bit of luck with the Dundalk goal, but he's getting goals as well. Now, when he's adding goals to the game, people will argue they're probably not against the top end of the table and stuff like that. But he is scoring, and he is getting himself in positions where he's helping the team. He's a valuable asset, and you hear all things about him in the dressing room and what he's like in the training ground, and only people like that can definitely help top pros. So, I'm confident going over there. There's about 100 to 150 Pats fans going, so that's the ballpark figure that I got, which is decent, considering it's a 2-day camel hike. So look, you know, I think it's all
basically, yeah, pretty much like.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Look, we'll move on to the Premier Division games. Finished Dundalk 3, Finn Harps 0 at Oriel Park. Leahy after 4, Ward after 6. The game was over, basically. Bradley on 36 minutes with a typical Stephen Bradley type goal, and 3-0 at half time. Game over. Brilliant home record continues. Luke, I'll start with you in this one.
Yeah.
And Harps just, that little, Ollie rant, if you like, last week that came out, looks like it done no good.
Where do you start? Like where do they go from here? You know what I mean? I know we say it every week, but where do they go from here? You know what I mean? It's not getting any better for them, and like they're 2-0 down after 6 minutes against Dundalk, and you don't give yourself any chance in the game. Then you know what I mean? Because you're not gonna get 3 goals against Dundalk, especially in Oriel. You know what I mean? You won't even get one. Like you know what I mean? Like that's just the way they are at the minute in Oriel. Yeah, look, Dundalk are going to be pleased, as I was saying earlier on the week, that they've lost they've obviously lost and they haven't won a game in 2. So to get a win here, you know what I mean, as we probably expected and as comfortable as it was, like it's a good 3 points for them. And obviously with Rovers dropping points as well, like I'm not saying like the title race is back on, but it's like it'll give them a bit of confidence that look, with Rovers in Europe, you know what I mean, like they will drop points, you know what I mean, and that's so Dundalk, as long as they keep winning games, like it gives them every chance of getting back up there, you know what I mean. But look, it's 3 points for Dundalk, very comfortable. Finn Harps is, defending is just not good enough. It's just not good enough, and even going forward as well, it's not good enough, and it's just the way they're playing at the minute. It's really, really poor. Like, and I wouldn't call for Ollie to be sacked, because I don't really think anyone you get in there is going to do a better job, to be fair, at the minute, because you don't have the squad to push on, like, and you might get a new manager bounce for 2 or 3 games and then it just falls apart again, you know what I mean? So I think it's better off they just see out the season and try and get into that sort of playoff spot, and see where it takes them, because look, over I think it's for Finn Harps over 90 minutes, you know what I mean, and in the playoff final, like, for them would be they have every chance of staying up, like, so as long as they don't get caught by UCD, then they'll be very, very happy, of course. But as well, I think they're just going to be disappointed with the performances recently. It's just not been good enough, and I think their fans are starting to get impatient. As you can't blame them. I think I seen a stat, they've only won 4 games in 39 or something. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not good enough. And we seen Finn Harps last season with they did have some quality, like the likes of Tunde and Foley and Mark Coyle. Like, there's a few decent players in there, like, last season, and it's probably the best Finn Harps side we saw in a long time last season. So for them, they're going to be really disappointed with the way it's gone so far, and it doesn't seem to get any better for them, and I can't really see it getting any better for them. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I really struggle to see where Finn Harps is supposed to go from here. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially with the performances they've put in recently,
Keno, should Ollie Horgan's job actually come into question here? When you listen to Luke there, you're kind of saying, where do Finn Harps go from here? And I don't see things improving, let's say, and things like that. Is it a question, though?
No, we don't think so. Like, you think back now, they played Dundalk probably in the last 5 or 6 games. Now, I could be wrong. They played Dundalk. I know they played Derry. They played Shells, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Rovers and Pats.
Yeah.
And it's like, that I know they got a point off Pats later on, but like, that's a tough. I think before Pats they played Sligo. Now that was disappointing. I think Sligo won it easy enough. I could be wrong with the.
No, you're right there. Yeah.
But like, that's a tough fixture list for any team. You know what I mean? Especially considering you played Dundalk and Derry. You know what I mean? Them two, especially in the last couple of games, which is tough for them. Derry, look, I always say, Finn Harps shouldn't be looking to take points off, Derry, Dundalk, Rovers. Probably, they probably, anyone else, they probably fancy their chances of picking points up against the Shells or Pats or the Sligo, you know what I mean? So you know, and Drogheda especially, like, you know, that's where they need to be picking up their pool of points.
Well, I suppose the point is, Keano, they're not picking up points against those teams either.
I know, yeah, but you know, it's awful. Like, I'll be saying it, like, when you do a bad run in this league, it's never ending. Every game comes and you feel like you're never going to score, never mind win a game. And you know, I think it's disappointing in the manner in which they lost to Dundalk to Derry in the last minute. And then, you know, look, it's Dundalk are forward now at this minute in time, and you know, it's tough. You know, they're getting back to where they used to, the levels that they probably used to hit.
The home record, Keno, is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, they're top of the league with their home. Like, they've won 10, drawn 2, right? But they've scored 26 and conceded 6. Like,
and you know, it's tough, but Fit Harps now need to be focusing on the games against, you know, your Shells, your Drogheda, your Pats, your Sligo, and if you can pick up, UCD of course, but if you're picking up your points against your Pats, maybe even pick up a point against Pats, or, you know, and the same as Shells, and kind of pick up little points there, but, you know, try and go and beat Drogheda and try and go and beat UCD. You know, I think that's the difference, I think. And that's where they need to be picking up that little pool of points. I don't think Ollie should go. I don't think it's going to do any good now. You always see managers leaving with about 3 or 4 games to go in the season. It's just like, you don't know why they do that. Managers, coaches getting sacked, and, well, you know, really get
they're hoping for, a lot of the time that happens, it's just a hope that you get a couple of results through a bounce, but it might do detriment in the long term, and that might not necessarily happen either.
Exactly. So I think Ollie is the man still. I think he deserves the respect to get it right. I think he deserves the time. I think he's earned that over the years. And, you know, like, I'm not being funny, but it wasn't long ago, like, people were calling for Ollie Horgan to get the Derry job. You know, Ollie Horgan to go here there because he was doing well. So, you know,
there's another argument. Sorry for going across there. There's another argument to suggest that if Ollie wasn't there for Harps in the last number of years, they could be in the first division more so than the Premier Division. There's that argument too, isn't there?
Yeah, like, even when they're in the first division, they're never favourites to come back up, and they always come back up. So, you know, I think, you know, he has obviously instilled a lot. Look, a lot of play. I know he had his concerns at the start of the season, and he made it known with the squad that he had. It's, you know, it is tough. They are, you know, they're probably on par with Drogheda in terms of, Drogheda are probably, for me, a little bit ahead of them in terms of, like, facilities, and considering they're so close to Dublin. So I think that kind of plays into a fact for Drogheda, which will definitely help. But I think, you know, other than that, I think Finn Harps are probably out there on their own. You know, I think Sligo, you can kind of dazzle them with the light, the training ground, the facility. But, you know, I don't think you can do that with Ballybuffet. And, you know, I think it's tough for him. Anyone he gets has probably gone to a bigger club, or, you know, anyone that he signs that's no good, that kind of there. And then anyone that kind of has half a good season that's picked up by a bigger team. So it is tough. And look, there's a few clubs in that pot as well that happens. But I think a horse, because of where they're from and how far away they are from everything else, I think it's tough to get the players that he probably like in with the resources that he has. So I'd be all for him to give him a little bit of time. I fancy them to stay up in the playoffs if they do come up. If either Cork or Galway, it's looking like Cork in the playoffs at this minute in time, probably. And, you know, it'll be an entertaining game. And anyway, so they need to beat UCD. They need to keep ahead of UCD, and that's the key for them.
So finished at Belfield, UCD 0, Shelbourne 2, and I think we all watched at least some of this, Luke. I think you caught the second half. Lucky you, because the first half was dreadful, I'm not going to lie. Boyd after 56 from the penalty spot, and Carr with a late one on 90 minutes. And Keano watched this as well, I think. But UCD started in the first 15 minutes, actually. They started quite well. And after that, it got a bit, you know what I mean, the game got scrappy. There was a lot of giving the ball away cheaply and things like that. And I don't think Damien Duff would have been impressed with the first half from a Shelbourne point of view, because Keane on the second half, they did come out, didn't they? With a bit more about them. And obviously they got the penalty, which was a penalty and unfortunately was a red card by the letter of the law. And when Shelbourne got that goal, you felt that was it, Keano. And they were just happy with the 3 points, although Duff didn't seem very happy with the final whistle to the 3 points.
No, look, he has better standards than that, and we can understand it.
I get what he's trying to do, but I think he's over-egged the cake a little bit.
Yeah, awful performance. Awful game. Not one that I'd like to watch again, to be honest. First half, I don't think there was a shot and goal on target. Anyway, I don't think.
If they might have had one, maybe.
It was awful. Second half, then, it kind of opened a little bit. Shells kind of stepped up a little bit. I'm not going to say a lot because they didn't. They just turned it on a little bit, and I know Sean Boyd missed a sitter just before. And they're the ones that you need to be putting in the back of the net. We got a bit of luck then. Well, I won't say look, it was a penalty, there's no doubt, but he stuck it away nicely. And then, they were under pressure a little bit as well. Then I thought towards the end of the game, they kind of started coming at them a little bit more, down to 10 men as well. And then look, from the breakaway, Dan Carr got a nice finish. Comes on and scores, and that's it, game over. Look, it's all about winning. That's the truth. Shell's got 3 points. And like I said last week, it gives them an opportunity to try and catch up on Pats and stuff like that now, with one eye on Europe for Pats. So, Shell's now be going about their business quietly. They have been. And, they're not far off Pats now. It's mad to think, like, they're right up their arses. And, I don't know. Look, UCD, I think, are just happy that they're in a dogfight. They're not down and out like they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they were in the Premier. So, they'd be looking at the result and they'd be saying, Jesus, Finn Harps are losing 3-0 at the time or whatever. So, the pressure's kind of off a little bit. I'd say that's probably one eye on that. But, look, not a great performance, but 3 points for Shells, and that's all that matters, really. There was nothing too much really in the game at all. There's not really to even talk about, to be honest with you. I thought that penalty was a penalty, and the red card was a red card, but apart from that, that's about it. That's all that happened, really.
Pretty much, like he's right, Luke. I mean, the UCD are, I think, happy enough to be in a dogfight as well. I think that's a point as well. And I do find these UCD games a bit strange, though, particularly the ones at Belfield. They all seem like the same kind of match. It doesn't matter if they're playing Bowls or Pats or Drogheda or UCD or Derry. The match always seems to be a similar style of game, and it always feels like the opposition that are playing UCD are in first gear for a while in the game, and then suddenly they go, "Oh, we have to win the game." Once a goal goes in, the game is over, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. This literally reminds me of when we played them in Belfield. Really, really horrible match to watch. Really, really poor. No real quality in the game. We get a penalty, and then we get a goal in one of the last kicks of the game. So it's literally the exact same. Look, there's not an awful lot to really say in the game. Really, really poor game to watch. I think there was no real quality. I think there's a lot of hit and hope from both sets of teams. We'll get the ball into Sean Boyd. Let's see what he does. There was a lot of that. I don't really think Jackson Moylan had much of an effect on the game in the second half anyways, from what I've seen. And then even in, you're seeing then UCD was just, once they got the red card, then they couldn't really do anything. It sort of killed them then, they couldn't really attack, and that was really disappointing for them. There was a lot of long balls into your man Lonergan, and he wasn't going to be able to, do an awful lot with that, you know what I mean? So, obviously, they'll be disappointed with their performance and that in the game. But look, I know Duff wasn't impressed after the game for some weird reason. To be fair, but they got 3 points.
He also thought they won 3-0 for some reason.
Yeah, Yeah. I thought I actually missed something, to be fair.
I'm not going to lie. I turned the match off. with about 30 seconds to go. I mean, I went to check back the result. So did I miss the goal?
Yeah. But look, to be fair, look, I know Duff wasn't happy, and he did say, like, oh, look, there was a lot of lads disappointed in the change room. I doubt that, to be fair. Really doubt that, like, do you know what I mean? I doubt they were all sitting in the change room not saying anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's 3 points, and, you know what I mean? No matter how you get it, like, do you know what I mean? They're going to be happy with 3 points, and you know, that's the sort of game you just have to win, and it doesn't really matter how you sort of play, because it's like, when you go to the Belfield, it is tough, like, and you know, that it's a weird time. It's a weird game when you play them there for some reason.
I rarely see teams play to their maximum level, like, of quality when they play UCD. I think that's the point. And he was kind of complaining that they didn't play with their maximum quality. But I haven't seen any team do that this season with UCD. It's all about getting the 3 points. And if you can do it, great. Sligo only a couple of weeks ago, when the other week lost 2-0 home to UCD. Would you prefer that?
And I know Duff was saying he was disappointed with the performance of that, but, like, he's obviously, I'd say he was a bit probably just straight after, you know what I mean, that sort of adrenaline after a match. He was quite animated on the sideline from seeing anyways. You know, he probably was just, you know, the adrenaline was still going. You understand that, but I'd say when he sits down Saturday morning, you know what I mean, he would have been happy with the 3 points, you know what I mean, and look, you know what I mean, we got the 3 points, and it's an important 3 point for them, you know what I mean, so to push the teams in front of them. So look, they'll be happy with that, and that's really it.
Yeah, it keeps them in the race pretty much. Tallaght Stadium on Saturday finished Shamrock Rovers 1, Drogheda United 1, and Macu looked like he was going to nick, I suppose, an undeserved winner in 79 for Shamrock Rovers, but Evan Weird something to say about that in 87 with a leveller. And obviously you were at it, and Luke, I was at it. I think Keno watched it as well, but I thought it was an interesting game from the point of view of, I thought the first half, not a lot happened, if I'm honest with you. These Saturday afternoon games can be a bit weird in many ways, but Rovers did look very leggy and not on it in this game. And Drogheda you sense Drogheda could nick something here, or maybe even nick a win. They didn't get the league goal, obviously. Rovers did get it, and you thought this is another Rovers where they've just pulled the win out of the bag. They've done nothing in the game. But to be fair to Drogheda, they hit back and they managed to get that late equaliser. Whereas Rovers would be disappointed that they didn't see the game out. Yeah. In many ways, Drogheda would be disappointed a little bit that maybe they didn't get that first goal where they felt like they could have at certain times of the game. They could have nicked all 3 points. So it's a bit of a strange one. I'll start off with Luke in this one.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up pretty well there. Like, to be fair, I think I came away from Tallaght on yesterday saying disappointed we didn't win the game, and I think that sort of is a testament to the team. You know what I mean? That you're walking away from Tallaght disappointed that you didn't get 3 points, and you know, I think we could have easily, because I think Foley has a great chance at 0-0. You know, the one they cleared off the line, and I think Pico Lopez cleared off the line again. Like, do you know what I mean? So there was 2 shots cleared off the line. So, you know, that was obviously disappointing that we didn't, you know, get that goal. You know what I mean? But I have to say, John played very well. I was quite disappointed by Bradley's comments after the game. I don't know if any of you seen it. He sort of said, "Oh, Drogheda, you know, very defensive, started, you know, wasting time from the first minute." But if you've seen the game from the first 15 minutes, I don't really think Rovers got over the halfway line. Do you know what I mean? You know, Drogheda really had them pinned in and weren't really causing Drogheda any problems. But look, we were sitting there saying, you know, Rovers, we were nearly expecting Rovers to, like, they're going to have to wake up at some point. And it just never really came. Like, it never really came. And I think, you know, the goal, we were disappointed by, you know what I mean? I don't really think the defending is great for the goal. There's obviously the question if the ball was out of play or not. Before the cross, I don't know. It's a tough one to see, but you know, from when I first seen it, when I first did see it, I did think it was out of play. But you know, then again, it might not have been. The whole ball might not have been over the line. So I'd love to see it properly, like really up close. You know, but then obviously they get the goal, and then you're sort of thinking, like, I was really, really disappointed then because we were going to be losing the game, and I don't really think we deserved to lose the game. But then Evan Weir, you know, popped up with a great finish, you know, great goal. Look, I can't really think of many teams that, you know, go to Tallaght and, you know, go 1-0 down so late on and then still manage to get a result. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can't really think there's many teams that have done that this season, in Tallaght anyways. So look, it's a good point in the end, and then the red card to Evan Weir is probably one of the softest red cards you're probably likely to see this season, to be honest, which is very, very soft. Like, I think Andy Lyons is going for that, playing for that foul the whole time. Like, do you know what I mean? He was always going to go for it, and it's disappointing because Evan Weir had a really good game in the second half, and you know, from to be sent off, I thought he managed his yellow card superbly because he got it really early on, like, you know. And then to be given away a red card like that, it's really annoying, to be fair. But look, we're going to be missing now for when we play UCD as well. So on that bank holiday Monday. So, or I don't know if it's in the cup. I don't know what way it works. Don't know if you know. But sure, look.
Send it for next week. Yeah.
It'd be next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, you know, I mean, it's a good point in the end, and you know, it's sort of it's another point on the board, and it sort of keeps that gap from the bottom, and you know, it's we're not too far behind Shells as well. So that's the most pleasing thing as well. So you know, it's a decent point, but I think we could have got all three, which would have been even better.
Keno, is a little bit concerning though. Matthew had a great chance actually, could have nicked it. They couldn't after even where he scored. He had a great chance to score. Was it a concern for Stephen Bradley in the fact that obviously they had a long trip in Europe, but they might have a lot of European games this season? Can they be caught out cold, do you think, in certain weeks with those kind of performances? Because they weren't on it, were they? To be fair.
No, they weren't on it now. But in fairness to Stephen, I don't think he came out and no, we didn't put on the poem out. Look at Rose, you know, the way some managers have done in recent years. You know, he hasn't come out. He didn't come out like and say, look at Rose. Yeah, like I remember Steve and Kenny, like just every week was an excuse when he was at Dundalk and got them into the group stages, and you know, every week whatever was coming on, and just now managers use that as an excuse. And I think Steve said, well, that's where we want to be. We want to be having all these games.
Yeah.
We know what's right if we have all these games. So, you know, I appreciate that, because it's easy to come out and say, look, we had a long trip, and we had this and we had that. So look, they weren't on it, and that's the reality. That, you know, Drogheda were comfortable in the game, I thought, especially in the first half. I thought Darren Markey was all over the pitch. He was brilliant for them. Really, really good in the middle for them. And look, you have Deegan there who just sit. He probably doesn't have the legs. He used to be a fantastic box to box, but you know, doesn't have the legs anymore. So does the job of sitting great, which lets Darren go. And you know, I thought it really worked well. The system that Kev set up limited Rovers to no real chances. Let's be honest. And you know, obviously the one off the line is a killer for Drogheda. You know, that goes into a different game. I don't know. There's just something that I thought Rovers would have winning it without playing too well. To be honest, I think that's the concern.
You thought that was going to happen, Keto, when the Matthew scores in 79.
That's it, exactly, and that's what I said last week. I said last week, I don't think Rovers are going to play too well, but I think they might win this 1 or 2-0 or just get out of hell a little bit. But they didn't. Great character shown from Drogheda, never say die, and you know, Rovers so questionable defending. Like, you shouldn't have that space in the box to be able to watch the ball drop and then hit it. You know, that shouldn't happen, but it happened. He took a while. He didn't take his eye off the ball into the bottom corner, and you know, it's 1-1. And then, you know, the red card, and which I don't think was. But look,
it didn't look like a foul, I'll be honest, Keno. But no, you're getting a yellow for that. It's a bit. Even if it's a foul, you're thinking just it's a foul and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, he bought the foul. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Look, they got the point out of it, and I think you know, it's not the worst. It's not the worst result coming out of a point, even if you're disappointed with it. But you know, I think it's a great point. Look, Drogheda now, I think, are safe, and anyway, I think everyone knows that. You know, the season now, you just hope they stay in the cup now for a little bit, because the season now is probably just going to peter out for them. But that's a good thing, if you know what I mean. They're not fighting. You know, they're not fighting for their lives down there. They're not fighting for every point. You don't have to go into a game and win it now. They can kind of. I'm not going to say enjoy themselves, but you know, the pressure's going to off a little bit. And if they,
it wouldn't surprise me, Keno. Sorry, it wouldn't surprise me if they got no points for the rest of the season, still finish above in Arsenal.
Yeah, I think they could very well do so. And you know, I'd like to see them stay in the cup now for a while, just to try and keep the season alive a little bit. And I look, probably any team is the same, and you don't want to face any team in the cup. Let's be honest, but I wouldn't like to face Drogheda, especially, at this minute. So, it's going to be nice for them now to be able to, I'm not going to say relax, but, kind of just pressure's kind of off a little bit. Can you get your squad sorted? Get a couple of players signed up for next year already. Get your squad sorted, and you're not in a race with any other clubs then, try and get your business done a little bit early. And I think now, the position that Drogheda are in now, they can afford to do that, because it's tough. Because, you can go and sign these players on 2 and 3 year deal, but Drogheda are the club that, might find themselves in a playoff. Yeah. And they could possibly go down, and then all of a sudden you have these players on Premier Division wages, and so that's why it's tough to build the basis for Drogheda. And you can understand that, but I think now they're really sustaining themselves as a Premier Division club now. So now they have an opportunity now to get their squad sorted already, which is a testament to Kevin and, Darrett and all the lads. But, it's great to see, and look, I'm delighted for them, and I genuinely do. I think they'll be in the cup now, hopefully towards the latter stages.
Yeah. Quickly, Shamrock Rovers before we go. Little Gret's obviously 3-0 there for the first leg. Luke, we like to think there's a chance, but is there a chance they can get through this tie in reality?
I don't think so, to be honest with you, Keith. Ludogorets are I think the thing about Ludogorets is they were so comfortable, do you know what I mean? They from the first leg, and they're gonna come over here now, and they're just, I think they'll be comfortable again, and they'll just control the game and limit Rovers to very few chances. And I think Rovers are gonna have to obviously put in a bit of a better look. I know they probably rested a few yesterday, but they probably need to put in a bit of a better performance anyways against Ludogorets if they've stand themselves any chance, you know what I mean? Pico Lopez going off injured as well, which is one to note, you know what I mean? Didn't look great, he played on and then he went down again, so it's not a good sign for them. He was holding his knee, which isn't a good sign. They won't want him gone for too long, because he's probably one of their best players, do you know what I mean? So good, so it's going to be tough for them to overcome, a 3-0 lead, a 3-0, defeat, so it's going to be very tough. And to be honest with you, I think they're sort of starting to keep their eye now on that Europa League next round, you know what I mean, and who they're going to be facing there, because it is going to be tough for them to overcome this,
Yeah, would you agree with that, Keno? Yeah.
Yeah, look, they're at home. Tala is going to be bouncing. An early goal, come out all guns blazing, an early goal, you just never know. It's mad how quickly a goal changes a game and changes the tide in any tie, no matter how many goals down you are, So, look, they're at home, they've nothing to lose. And I will also say they are playing Bangor in the cup. So, that kind of gives them a chance to really go for it. It's not like they're playing, for example, Bowes away in the cup, where they're like, okay, we'll prioritise the Bowes game and the cup. You know what I mean? They can kind of get away with doing both here. So I'm not going to say the tie is over. I don't think they'll be hammered. But if they were to score an early goal, I genuinely believe they might give it a crack. I don't think they'll win the tie. But an early goal can change everything and make it a little bit more interesting. With Tala, everything's going for Shamrock Rovers when you think of it in Tala. The 3 stands are going to be jammed, I presume. The atmosphere is going to be up. If they score in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you just never know what can happen, because they have players that can hold anything.
I mean, Rovers score. Yeah.
If Rovers score within the first 15 minutes or whatever, they have the opportunity, because they have players there that can hold any team at any level. And I'll be honest, I'm saying that I think any level would struggle if Rovers turn around. So, I'm not going to say the tie is over, but I think Rovers might win on the night.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Well, the show is over. So, lads, thanks very much for coming on. Guys at home, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments and hit your bell notification button. Thanks again.
Thanks.